So I first reached out to Victor because I was using Facebook ads already, but I felt kind of scattered. And I was interested, but it was kind of confusing to me. He gave me some really great insight on how to kind of retarget people and build the different levels of the ad funnel. It really did help for a while, and honestly, probably if I kept doing what he said, it would have continued to help, but I kind of ignored my ads for quite a while, and that's when I reached out and said, hey, I think I need somebody to help me in a more kind of hands-on kind of approach here.
So here, I'll just ask, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and like what you do, and we'll start there.
Yeah, my name's Daniel Seriff. I'm a professional guitar coach. I've been pretty serious about making online content for, say, the last 3 or so years. And I've done a lot of things. I've created some PDFs and toolkits and free lead magnets and stuff like that, and been putting some Facebook ad money behind it, and then also have developed a YouTube channel as well. And all that stuff kind of leads to my courses, and then on the kind of far back end, I have like a high ticket coaching program as well for intermediate guitarists.
Yeah. So what would you say, Daniel, is that what was like the problem that you had prior to like reaching out to me? I would say like let's do the first time, and then maybe like the second time after as well.
Sure. So I first reached out to Victor because I was using Facebook ads already, but I felt kind of scattered, and I had learned about Laurel's approach to ads, and I was interested, but it was kind of confusing to me. So I reached out to Victor because he was highly recommended in the group, and he gave me some really great insight on how to kind of retarget people and build the different levels of the ad funnel. It really did help for a while, and honestly, probably if I kept doing what he said, it would have continued to help. But I kind of ignored my ads for quite a while, and that's when I reached out and said, "Hey, I think I need somebody to help me in a more kind of hands-on kind of approach here."
Yeah. And I'm glad you did, right? Because it's like you saw initial results with some of the things that were just tactically, I was like, change this, change this. Wasn't really much, but simple things, right? Now it's more of like now we're thinking more strategic where we just finished talking about like Black Friday and whatnot and what you're going to be doing there. What would you say was the reason you chose to work with us specifically over other agencies or anything like that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that there are lots of agencies out there that maybe aren't as flexible or as knowledgeable about uh, what goes on in the business. Like, I think that you guys did a great job of understanding, like historically the brains and the thought process of guitar players, right? So I deal with intermediate guitar players. They've seen every course. They have wasted time on some of them, and maybe some help them as well, but they're like frustrated. And these are my particular audience. They're all like 50 to 75-year-old adult males. And so they want no nonsense. So if we can lead
Yeah.
in a way with value that like shares some really cool secrets, so to speak, or just things that will be very effective and helpful, then you can create kind of a retargeting and connection kind of based ads that really make people feel like they're like, oh wow, this guy cares about me. There's much more personality to that approach rather than being bombarded with like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my
Offer, offer.
product. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what it sounds like is we're thinking more behind the psychology of the experience for people, for your potential customers or your future customers, versus just tactically, this is the tactic that's working today in this day and age, right? We're not just following tactics and trends, but we're really thinking about what is the experience your customer wants to have so that they can trust you and buy from you and work with you. And
Yeah.
that's how we're implementing a lot of the strategy.
Yeah, totally. To me, it's like it's counterintuitive, but it's an organic approach to
Yeah.
putting marketing dollars behind your stuff. Part of it is realizing some of these people are never going to ever buy the product. But if you can
Mhm.
build your reputation by giving quality information away for free and sharing that in a way where it's not a waste of all your ad spend, then you build kind of rapport in the community. And maybe somebody won't
Mhm.
buy, but they'll tell a friend who buys, or and you can kind of sculpt all that data behind the scenes in ads manager in a way that is incredibly overwhelming for me because I just want to teach guitar, and make new courses and work with my students. That's all I want to do.
That's fair. That's totally fair. And it's like, yeah, I hear that a lot from a lot of people. A lot of business owners are like, I want to do my thing. I don't want to do the other stuff, but you
Yeah.
have to, right? There's a peer part of it that you got to do. Yeah. I'm curious on your side, like, w was there anything in particular? I mean, we're really legitimately like about a month in together, working together. But what was there anything in particular that really stood out so far, in really working with us that's helped you? Or that's been like effective in any way, that you see that really stands out in that first month?
Yeah, so for the most part, for the last few years, I've been like a one-stop shop. I've done everything, right? And so
Hmm.
it's nice to be able to, things that are easy for me is like having a video scripted and just reading it in the teleprompter, right? So like, you guys took the data that I provided, based on my customers that their words, and you built, really nice ads that have text that fits the language that they use, and then we did some direct to offer campaigns where you wrote me like 5 scripts that for me it is incredibly easy to tweak them the tiniest little bit to just make them know that they fit my clientele exactly and they're going to the right offers, and then sit down in front of the teleprompter and film it, and it's just so incredibly easy for me to do that. So that was really nice. And then just having everything in the back end just organized more clearly, top of funnel, middle of funnel, hot ready, hot buyers, so
Hmm. So campaign structures have really been helpful, really stood out over the last month. The scripts, it sounds like we're doing a lot, like 80% of it for you so that you can focus on the last 20% that really makes the ad pop, right? It's like we can only do so much, but it's ultimately your message. And that's the 20% that we can't recreate from you.
yeah. And thankfully that's the easy part for me because I can just
That's awesome.
read from the teleprompter in a convincing way and it feels good.
There, there you go, right? So what do you feel has been some of the results from implementing some of that stuff, just in the last month here together?
Yeah, I think that right now, we're in this transitional phase where we've turned off a lot of the ads that I had running before because they were what we could call losers, right? So
Yeah.
they just been running for a long time and I didn't pay attention to them. And so by cutting that off, I think you basically cut my ad spend in half, which was nice because when that hits my credit card, it's not the most fun feeling. And
Yeah.
and I think that like we're down to a really like nice level. We're getting cheap leads. And now as we crank those ads back up, ideally I'll be getting like maximizing leads and even direct
Hmm.
to sale, which, I've been skeptical of direct to sale in my industry, but I look forward, you guys have the data and we have everything kind of nice, clean and clear now, so we're going to know exactly what's going on, which is cool, and I think that we can scale it and feel it out. So
So transparency too with data. Um, Big one. It's a pet peeve for us.
it
Just
is.
so you know, like I hate not knowing the numbers. Just because it's like, well, then if we don't know, how do we make decisions, right? So, I'm glad we were able to, like, that's typically one of the first things we really go in and try to deep dive into for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So then what would you say for anyone watching, what would you say that maybe like they're on a fence, like, maybe I talked with them or I booked a call or like I did talk with them, but I don't know. What would you say to someone like that, about now actually working with us?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think like in the back end and in Ventobot's, overall thing, there's like a lot. You get a lot more than you expect. Like I really thought that they would just run the ads. I didn't know that you guys were gonna be scripting and be kind of like overseeing the overall, and I also didn't know that you did YouTube ads, and so we haven't even opened that can of worms yet. And
Hmm.
I think that that's fun. So like, I think that it's very clear that you guys are attentive. You're responsive to when I DM you in Slack and say, "Hey, this is working, this is not working. Hey, let's do this. Hey, I checked out the ad and this word need change, just incredibly responsive. Um, no one will ever be as good at reaching my customers as I am, But if you
Yep.
guys can be the vehicle that allows the thing that we understand about my customer and turn it into words that they can relate to, and then you can show it to them, then we're in like a wonderful place, right? And so I think
Yeah.
you guys are very attentive in that way, where it's like we're trying to get the messaging right, we're trying to get it in front of the right people, we're trying to not overspend on the budget, we're trying to only you know do the things that are necessary, and then scale it up and make sure we're reading the data. So it feels like you said, transparent and step by step, which is great, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah. And like that's I'm glad you say that because it's like true, right? We want you that's only a month in. You know, we've restructured things, we've revamped things, we've changed things up, adjusted. Now it's like that's the first 30 days. And that's you doing a lot of work already, right? You were already doing this before us. So imagine if someone wasn't doing that. But like yeah, so there's a lot that we do take care of that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm also curious on your side, what do you think would be different right now if you didn't join us a month ago?
I think that I probably would have stopped Facebook ads.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's fair. That's that totally makes sense because we were one yeah because as we were looking at things I'm glad we were able to cut the budget and just reallocate a bunch of wasted spend currently, right? It may have worked in the past, and I think that some of that stuff we set up initially about a year ago when you and I first connected, and then like now we're like cool, like you mentioned, right? You kind of just let it run.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I'm glad we were able to restructure things for you there and really get going.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm
think
sure you're seeing like now that we have the transparency, we have different funnels for it, we have split tests going, like we're really seeing like what's selling, what isn't, where the leads are coming from, where they're going, what offers are the ones that are the ones taken off and what we're going to scale and whatnot, right?
yeah, totally. I mean, I think I did what a lot of people do, which is just like, oh, that scary thing's over there, and
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it. And look, when I first started, before I knew you guys, I was like getting 7 cents a lead on my PDF, right? My free
Yeah.
PDF. Like that was an amazing world. And then it starts to go like doop, 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 doop. And if you don't have somebody knowledgeable, and yes, I could spend countless hours to try and learn things
Hmm.
that you guys know. But the reality is, you guys do it really well. And if we can get to a point where everything feels like financially like, oh, this makes total sense, it's like that's the way to go. So I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want for you too, right? We're looking to partner with people for the long run. In that sense, and like we'll show you how to do it. And then we'll eventually either train someone to take over for us for you, or we kind of like show you how to do or train your person in there. Because we've done one of the other routes as well in the past. So glad to hear that. I'm excited to hear that that's like that's been your first 30 days. I'm always like trying to figure out like how do we make our experience better for our clients, right? So I appreciate the transparency on that. Anything else you'd like to finish off with for everyone listening before we kind of end this?
Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend Ventobot. The guys, Victor and Ian, have been wonderful, and yeah, I've had a great experience so far.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, man. See ya.